Hello, everyone. This is another Freedom to Feel conversation, and my guest today is Dr. Christine Silverstein. She is a peak performance coach, founder of Summit Center for Ideal Performance. She is a behavioral health registered nurse and clinical hypnosis expert. Dr. Christine is also a researcher, historian, and bestseller author. Her current book is the one that we'll be discussing today. It's titled Wrestling Through Adversity: Empowering Children, Teens, and Young Adults to Win in Life. So, this is my brief introduction to you, Christine. Now, a question that I love asking my guests, all of them from the get go, it's one of my favorite questions for some reason. Um, in your own words, who is Christine?
Well, I have definitely given that a lot of thought in my life. And I believe I was born to do the work that I'm doing now.
Mm.
And it happened early in childhood. I was very independent. I remember standing in a vacant lot down the street from my home. And I had an argument with my little brother, and my parents were siding with him. So I went to this vacant lot, and I remember talking to myself and saying, I have to do everything myself. I'll have to be very independent in my life. And I was 5 years old, and I remember going home and telling my parents from then on, leave me alone, I'll do it myself. And they would kind of
Mm.
smile at me and permit me to be independent. And so that's the person I was very early on, and I have carried that throughout my life, actually, to where I am now, where I look at things from a different perspective, and I also look at in different ways than most people, and I understand my world through metaphors and pictures,
Yeah.
and I have to spend a lot of time talking to people and saying what these images and pictures mean, and the metaphorical aspects of it. So that's who I am, and I started my life off as a nurse, a student nurse, at the age of 16. So I was pretty much set very early on in my life how to care for people.
Yes. Wow. That's wonderful to hear. This let's say the concept of independence, which I have, of course, my own ideas, but I would love to hear more about that for those who are listening, for myself as well. What is the nature of being independent? It's not really about not needing others, right,
Mm-hmm.
Christine? What would
Mm-hmm.
that what does it look like when it comes to communities, relating relationships? I would love to hear a little bit more, so we have a better idea. So I have a better idea.
Well, you can put it into perspective for today's world. And I say in my book that we need to be independent practitioners
Mm,
of our own mental health. And that is because we can't depend on the government to take care of us, and we can't depend on the politicians to take care of us. And we have to know what to do. We have a situation here where our children are afraid to go to school because they might be shot at with a gun or automatic
right.
rifle. And we have situations with our teenagers now who have a lot of depression and anxiety, and also we have our young adults who are having issues as well. Like 60% of college students go to their first year stating that they have mental disorders. So that's a huge amount of students that are already starting off college that way. So I
True.
say independent in that we as parents or adults, we have to help our children through helping ourselves first, because we have to know about our own traumas. We have to know how to handle things and then show them in what's happening in the world. We're not showing our children to be independent in that way.
Yeah.
So if they have these ideas, these I call them mindful toughness skill sets incorporated into how they know the world, then it's not so much of a challenge when they go to school and they're being bullied and they know what to do right there.
Yeah.
But if we wait and they don't know what to do, that's when the coping strategies need to be ramped up for sure. But why not start early on in life? That's the premise that I work with. Start early on,
Mm,
because our children learn from their parents and from teachers and coaches
Right.
by a mechanism in the brain called mirror neurons. They pick
Right.
up everything we say, everything we do, even the way we speak, the cadence, everything that's there, they're picking up. And some say, like a cell biologist, he wrote about it many years ago, that children pick up vibrations from their parents
Mm.
before they're even conceived. Bruce Lipton, that's his name, but he's a famous,
Yeah, you mentioned in the book.
yes, author. So we have to be very careful and teach them to be independent, yet work with communities. So we're all independent and we're working together.
Yes.
So you're still independent. Look how you have this show that's very independent, I would say.